The same generation that got told, "Go outside and don't come back until the streetlights come on," is the one getting criticized today for being too involved with their kids. And that contrast explains everything. If you grew up in the 70s or early 80s, you remember one thing clearly: walking through the front door and nobody was home. Not because your parents didn't want to be there, because they couldn't. For the first time, both of them were working. Between 1970 and 1990, the share of mothers with young kids who worked jumped from about 37% to nearly 60%. And out of that came the latchkey kid. You let yourself in. You made yourself something to eat. You handled your afternoon alone. That was just normal. But here's what nobody says out loud. It wasn't only independence. It was learning way too early that nobody was coming to fix things for you. Problem at school? You dealt with it. Fight with a friend? You sorted it out. Something hurt? You carried it. Fix it or don't, but it's yours. Repeated day after day, that builds something real. Yes, it makes you independent, but it also teaches you an emotional self-sufficiency that looks like strength from the outside, and, a lot of the time, just feels like being alone. Now that generation has kids of their own, and they'll tell you openly they're trying to do it differently. To be more present. Not because someone taught them how, but because they know exactly what it feels like when that's missing. They usually aren't hovering. They let you run your own life most of the time. But when something actually matters, they show up out of nowhere, all in. Some people call them stealth parents. They're not always visible, but the moment it counts, they're standing exactly where they need to be. And that's not an accident. They promised themselves they wouldn't be overprotective. Then they had kids, and something shifted. Because some memories don't disappear. They just go quiet until a child wakes them up. Walking into an empty house. Solving everything alone. That feeling that nobody was really paying attention. They grew up when stability was never guaranteed, so they can't promise their kids everything will be fine. Instead, they prepare them, not for an easy world, but for an uncertain one. They'll let you get it wrong more than once, because learning rarely happens on the first try. But they'll be right there when everything falls apart. No judgment, no noise, just there. Because they know what it's like to have no one to call. Because in the end, it's not just about how you were raised. It's about what you decide to do